Welcome to another episode of the Bimmer Podcast. I'm your fuck.
This bitch.
Again. We're back filming episode 11 and our returning guest, Jeremy.
Hey.
Welcome, Jeremy.
Welcome back.
What's up, y'all?
So, Jeremy, what have you been up to since the last time we saw you?
Same stuff I'm always up to, building cars, working a lot. Glad to be back here with you guys.
So, I just want to say thank you, obviously, for taking the time to traveling from PA all the way to New York, Long Island.
Last time you guys made the trip, this time I made the trip, right?
Yes, sir. That's it. That's how it goes, right? I also want to say, huge shout out to Triple C. Thank you for allowing us to do every episode at his shop. They located in Wyandotte, so if you guys need anything, y'all know where to go. Go check them out at IG Triple C. So I know last time that we saw you, we didn't have this car.
No.
And obviously, now you got her back. And if I'm not mistaken, you were saying that you were doing some that is called stroker.
Yeah.
Can you give us a little more
Yeah, so this car just came back from California, Carbahn out in California, San Jose, California, put a stroker motor in the car, 3.2, completely tuned it. New Vargas turbos is what they paired with it. Now it's making about 800 horsepower on 93 octane stock fueling setup.
Wow. Yeah. So when Stroker Kid's 3.2,
yeah.
Was there anything wrong with the original motor? And the
original motor didn't make it to this build. The damage was too bad. We had to scrap the block and go with a completely new block.
Oh, what happened with that block?
That block was tuned for a full flex fuel build.
Okay.
Flex tune rather. When I went back to 93 last year around October, I got on it real hard on the highway. One of the cylinders overheated, melted the spark plug, ground strap, which bounced around in the cylinder for 60 miles or so until I made it home.
Oh, shit.
And completely ate up the cylinder, so it was a wrap.
Nope. All right. Now, I know with the Stroker Kit, a lot of improvement, but you also said that you removed a certain number of parts from the other motor.
So through this build, they brought the entire car back to stock. The idea is that Carbahn, who's ran by Steve Dinan, who's the engine builder, they provide obviously built motors regularly in the industry for different BMW chassis. But this is a product that they want to sell to the masses. So it was hard for them to take a product that I have, that I've completely customized, intake manifolds, turbos, like all the bolt-ons that I had on the car, and try to make that into something that they can sell. So they wanted to bring it back to basically a stock S58,
okay,
and then build it from there so that when they sell this to the masses, they have the blueprint as to how to do that with the necessary parts on it that they were able to make this power with.
Brought by radio, this is so fun. Wow, that's nice. So this is the first stroker on the tri-state or the whole nation?
I don't know about the nation. I don't know a lot of engine builders, but I haven't seen any other stroker S58 motors on the market. It's definitely the first one. Carbahn is put together. It's the first one I know of.
So I would say I'm a little bit upset the fact that you have to send the car out all the way to LA.
So that's the thing. With this process that they went through with my car, it was an R&D car. I was in a position where I needed a new motor. They had motors out there. We talked to them. We were able to get Steve Dinan's stroker motor from his car and put it in this car. But now that this has already been R&D'd and they already have the blueprint as to how they're gonna do this, moving forward, if I needed this now, I can go to my local shop that's a Carbahn authorized dealer and order this motor from them.
Oh, wow.
And so they can, as long as they're capable of putting it in, the car doesn't have to go to California anymore.
So
tuning, everything is sent.
If it's a Carbahn dealer, so they'll actually send the stroker kit or the actual block installed and stroked already?
They would send the entire motor built already. Yeah, stroked, built, and ready to be bolted into the car for whatever price that is.
And then Carbahn obviously supplies the tune,
They supply the tune too. I want to say they use F80 Paul or Paul Johnson tuning. I don't know 100%. That's what I was told along the process, but I never got final word from Steve as to who wound up finishing it. But the car is literally built to be the best driving car it could ever be. Like, there's no lag on the turbos. It's just ready to get up and go from any point.
Do you know what size Vargas turbos?
I don't know, but I know that I did have pure stage 2s and they were too big for the build. So they had to downsize those pure stage 2s to these Vargas to alleviate the lagging and whatever else they did. But they put together a hell of a build. Like, I can't say enough. out of the 7 or 8 M cars that I have, it's absolutely, and I know I just got it back a week ago, but it's the best driving car I have, dude. Like, it rips.
Wait, you said 7 or 8. Well, what other cars did you
6.
add to the stable?
We got an E46 Alpina V3, 3.3 Alpina E46 right-hand drive. We got an F80 CS, but I think that was at the shop last time you guys came. And then we're getting the M2 G87 M2 CS in a month or 2.
Oh my God!
So,
All right.
Yeah.
Also, congratulations, by the way, on the wheels that you put on the G90.
Yeah, the G90
Things look
came out crazy.
sexy, bro.
Y'all didn't see it. Check that
I
Rossi
don't-
video
Yeah.
out. It's absurd.
I don't think there is on any other G90 on the nation.
But I am seeing a ton of high-end cars with those wheels on it. Now, there's a couple different versions of those wheels. I have the 3-piece wheel. A lot of them are like 2-piece.
Yeah, 2-piece.
And I see them a lot on trucks and, like Rolls's and bigger cars. So I have seen them a bunch recently, but just not the 3-piece that I have on that car. And on no other BMW.
I think there is a G87, a white one.
It's crazy. It's silver.
Yeah,
That's
I think
the new
it's,
one that
it's
they just put
sick
together.
too, though. Like,
So, I'm already in talks with them about the G87 that I have coming in. It's going to be equally as cool. I mean, there's no question about it. Vossen, to me, was not a B brand for a long time, but they weren't like an HRE. They weren't like, like one of the top tier brands in wheels. And I feel like they've really stepped their game up recently. And you're seeing them everywhere, and they're amazing wheels.
Well, they're located in California, and they have their own Florida,
located in
and they
Miami.
have their own CNC shop.
Yeah, everything's done right now.
I remember back then, though, they used to be like very big.
They were always
JDMs.
quality, but they were like quality, like 4K wheels. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
yeah,
Not
yeah.
like quality $15,000 wheels. Now they've gotten into a whole nother.
So wait, so you're telling me if we don't have 10, 12, $15,000
I'm sure they have $4,000 or
wheels on the
$5,000
on the M's, we're not using them. That's what you're
I'm sure
trying to say?
I'm sure they have cheaper wheels. If you want the 3-piece, you know what I mean, 22 butters that I have on my car, you gotta pay to play, bro.
What's the official name of that wheels?
I don't know. It's a number. It's like an S18 something. Like I
Okay.
can, we could post it in the video, but I don't have it on me.
So what brake kit do you have on this car?
AP Racing, but getting back to the G90 for a second, I had wanted to do a new set of wheels. I called my guy R44 over at Reese over at R44.
Yeah.
And these were like his dream wheel. Immediately, he was like, "Oh, these are the wheels you have to go with." He sent them to me. There was no decision. There was no other wheels that I looked at. Immediately, just locked into those wheels. And he was kind of like tight that he didn't have them on his car because he had like the forged or the 2-piece. So that's just a funny story. But this car has an AP Racing big brake kit on it.
Also, you totally took out the M brakes that came with it.
Completely, yep.
So I'm assuming it's a 6-piston.
Yeah, 6-piston
monocaliper
front. It is.
with the 2-piece rotors.
That's correct, 2-piece rotors. The interesting thing about this car is that it has an electronic emergency brake, which made it hard. I mean, when I got these, I think I got them a little over a year and a half ago. And the issue was that the electronic parking brake kind of threw them for a loop with doing a full big brake kit on this car. So on the rear calipers, it's actually a separate brake that's the emergency
For the
brake
emergency
function.
brake or the
Yeah,
parking brake function.
Yeah, outside of the caliper, which is a pretty cool setup.
And I'm sure with the Alcon kit, it also came with stainless steel lines.
Stainless steel,
Everything's
yeah,
upgraded.
everything. Yeah, we upgraded
And
it all.
did you have to coat them?
I don't believe these brakes had to be coated in, but I couldn't speak on that 100%. Auto Couture out in New Jersey did the brakes.
Okay.
I know when it first came back, they were saying there was an issue where sometimes you'd set the brake lever and it would stay yellow, it wouldn't go red.
Okay.
But I've never seen it happen. It happened for them at their shop, but it's never happened to me. So I don't know if there was something that they had to do to coat or not. It's a good question.
What intake are these?
These are Carbahn intakes for the S58, G80, G82.
Because you used to have.
Even Turkeys on this car, which I would prefer to go back to. No disrespect to Carbahn, you guys built an amazing car, but they're just not aesthetically pleasing to me. It's the only thing that I'm really not cool with on the car, but the way this car drives is phenomenal, and I'm like really hesitant to touch anything on it, like even the intakes. Like it's so good of a car driving right now.
This is a rear wheel drive, right?
All wheel,
All wheel drive?
all wheel drive.
So, like obviously a lot of the audience know, with the last post that we have, people are going crazy. What do you got to say about the road racing in a dig?
Dig
So
racing and
listen,
roll racing?
you've been on the game for a minute.
Yeah, I'm not
obviously-
a racer though, but I could chime in on it. Dig racing is where it's at, I think, for the driver, the ability, the skills. Roll racing is for like racers that want to race. Like it's not really racing. You could have fun on the highway playing with people and roll racing that way. Like if it's a competition, it's got to be from a dig, in my opinion.
So, but
unless you're running those R8s down in Texas that are like, doing like 80 to 210. You know what I mean on a roll, but like that's.
Yeah, that was my
Very-
other question though, because like obviously like if you're pushing 1,700 horsepower or 2,000
You
horsepower,
can't get a dig, right? So that's
You,
why a lot
you,
of
you
those
run
guys
out
are
of
roll
real
racers.
estate at that point.
Yeah,
so at that point you gotta do roll.
yeah.
There is no way to do a dig.
I don't know. I mean, to get those cars to hook at 1,700 horsepower has got to be a challenge. I can tell you that. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a racer, but not on a non-prepped surface. Like they're racing these cars on the street. Maybe on the track it's a little different because it's a prep surface. But
Yeah, because when we did MIR with Bimmer United, they actually were doing dig.
yeah,
The
prep
pink
surface.
R8, Angie, I think that's
Yeah.
her name. So she was doing like
yeah.
210,
The girl that was driving the R8.
Yeah. And that car is, if I'm not mistaken, that car is pushing 17 or 1,800 horsepower.
Yeah. From a
So
dig.
and from a dig.
Yeah. It's got to be built from a dig too. Like you can't. You know what I mean? You got to do.
But they also
axles,
were-
you got to do a lot of stuff to those cars.
But they also were doing roll though.
Yeah.
So like, because I know like there is a lot of hit right now.
I'm not saying roll racing is bitch. Like I like roll racing. Like it's fun when you're out there ripping with your friends or on the highway just shitting on everything in traffic in a car like this. But if you want to get down and dirty, like it's got for money, it's got to be from a dig. Like how else could it be? All the big races for power, for money out here, are from a dig, dude. They're not roll racing for money out here.
that is
It's the
actually
facts, right?
That is actually that's a fact. That's actually
Yeah.
true. You don't see like anyone,
You
not
gotta build
especially in
your
New
car to
York.
launch. You got to build your car to, you know what I mean, to hold that power. Not, you know what I mean. Like there's a lot of technicality in dig racing.
Yeah, it has to be set up properly.
Yeah.
Each has its own challenges.
God forbid you drive a manual. Like dig racing a manual is tough.
So do you think it's more like a skills thing
100%.
when you're doing dig,
Yeah.
or when you're doing roll?
I think it's skills either way, but I think it's a lot more skills when you're dig racing.
So like,
No disrespect to the roll racers, but like they're kind of just playing around. They're not really racing.
but where do you see more accident though? You see more accident doing roll racing or dig? But
I don't know. After the video y'all just posted last week, I think it's roll racing with rear wheel drive raggedy ass builds. Like, but I don't know. Racing in itself is what I was going to say is a dangerous sport. So like I'm
Right.
sure you could find just as equally as many issues or situations where dig racing came to a bad end too. But on around here, like to get a dig race, you got to shut down the highway. Like there's a lot to do. It's a whole lot more often you're going to catch a roll race. You know what I mean? And a lot of times when you roll racing, people see it on the internet. They just want to be a race car driver. Young. We had this conversation last video that we did together about just the lack of the ability to understand your car or have the skills to control it. You know what I mean?
Well, speaking of the YNs, recently, a couple of weeks ago, we had that whole debacle here in Queens,
Yeah.
the takeover.
Yep.
What are your thoughts about this? And you've been in the game for a long time.
Yeah, but I'm old. Like, so when I was 20, I might not have the same mentality on it. Nowadays, I think it's disgusting. Like, I like enjoying the cars. There's so much fun we can have driving these cars in a righteous and legal way. Like, that's just attention grabbing bullshit. Like, and then being super disrespectful, destroying property, assaulting people. Like, there's no place in the world for any of that. You know what I mean? And never at an event that we would ever host would something like that take place. I just think it's uncalled for, and it's bringing a ton of heat on the community where guys that just want to enjoy their cars are getting blasted by the police, pulled over for dumb shit because these people
A
just
guilty
don't-
by association
by
almost.
association, 100%.
And that makes it harder for everybody to
I don't know if
enjoy cars.
I don't know if like the crime justifies the punishment in this case that we're talking about, but it's something that has to stop 100%. It's a lot of American cars doing that shit.
That's a fact. But like going back to the roll and dig, I just feel like when you're doing a roll, right, and if you get into an accident, there is like it could result into more like what do you call it? It's tragedy. Like no, like
Tragedy?
yeah. It could be like it could result in something
For a roll
more
race,
like,
you're saying?
yeah, because obviously you're doing 60. If you're doing 60 or
Yeah, but if you're dig racing fast cars, like dude, you're at 100 miles an hour in seconds. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
and you go into a wall.
And respectfully, last year we had a terrible accident in this community, and it was a dig race, right?
yeah.
Like because cars are 1,400 horsepower, and they're like it doesn't matter. It could be dangerous either way, in my opinion. I think dig racing is just as dangerous if you're not doing it in a setting that's safer. Tracks are built a certain way.
In a semi-controlled environment.
Yeah, it has to be somewhat
Yeah.
controlled, 100%. Yeah.
It's really sad, to be honest too. Like seeing what is happening on the community, on the car community, especially in New York. It's, you know, I don't know how long more this is gonna be, you know,
I
like,
mean, already NYPD is already cracking down. They're changing laws just to punish everybody. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, they're putting everybody under this big
I'm
umbrella.
the PA, man. We still got love out there. Nah, I hear you, but it only takes a few to ruin it, right? And it's been going like this for a long time out here, years that I can recall where it's really gotten bad.
yeah, definitely.
It's a culture right now with a bunch of young kids, and it's just destroying everything. But there's still grown-ups that want to do the right thing and enjoy these cars. So
Probably
get with us.
probably for the for the past 5 years, I would say, you know, like people been really like
It's tough, yeah.
fucking everything up for you know, for the others, for people that really love.
And we may be somewhat guilty in that too, right? Like back in the day, we were posting crazy videos on Monday morning, right? I can't say that didn't influence some people around here, you know, like $170 down to LIE, you know what I mean? Like we did do some sketchy shit, like at certain points, and we were posting all of that shit, you know what I mean?
But we were
shutting
having
down the internet in this market for a few days where all those videos were just
but we're
posted.
having fun while we're doing it. Everybody
Right,
else seems to do it for
responsibly.
aura. Everybody else seems to do it for aura and clout.
Yeah, no, we did it for ourselves, of course. Yeah, 100%. That's a great point.
I just feel like there is so many cloud chaser out there, to be honest. You know, like there is so many cloud chaser that people don't think on the other civilians, you know, and
It's dangerous.
it really is, you know, like how the fuck you gonna go, you know, you're gonna host a meet and, you know, next thing you know, they fucking put the car on fire on a security guy.
Not even there's a homeowner just trying to protect his things.
Property.
You know?
So I put myself in the shoes of that guy when I saw that, and I was like, man, I might have got my ass whooped that night too. In PA, it's a little different. I'm not fighting you. You know what I'm saying? But you know, we have different laws out there that give us the ability to have certain things inside the crib. But I would have been out on that lawn protecting my shit too, you know? And I don't even keep nothing nice outside my house because people will judge you that way too.
I just feel like, you know, this is really bad for the car community.
Terrible.
From any ways that you see it.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully all the
But
new
we're
generation.
back to that swimming shit. Like we're back to all that shit now. Like, you know, certain people got in trouble for it, whatever. All that shit's gone. Now you have a whole nother group of them kids doing that same type of shit. If they come up on me and crash into my car on the highway, it's gonna be problems. I can tell you that.
I know another guy too. Yeah, like, yeah.
Me,
I didn't say names, so.
I don't drive like that.
So
I'm very safe.
Yeah, sure. I know that for
Like
sure.
just like your immigration status.
Yeah, I'm safe. I'm still here, right? So,
You're safe.
right? Listen.
We'll get you back. Don't worry. Man.
So, listen. As long as they don't send me to Philippines, I'm fine.
The Philippines, that's what they're sending you?
King of the Thousand Islands.
So,
Anyway.
so let's get a little more into details. You know, this car. How long you own the car now for?
I had this car about 4 years. It's almost exactly 4 years. I bought this car back in 2021 when the all-wheel drive version of this was just coming out. One of the first ones.
No, can you give us the specs? Color, interior?
Portimao blue. It's on Silverstone interior. Got the couch seats, no buckets in this one. It was a super, like, economical build when I got it. The dealership called me back in 2021. Somebody had purchased it, and then when it came in, they walked away from the deal. Did I want it? At that point, these cars were going for a crazy amount of money over sticker.
That was first year when it came out.
So I'm like, at worst case, I'll buy it, I'll floss with it for a month, and then I'll sell it for $15K over, and it just never worked out. Like I just kept it.
4 years later, and X amount of dollars is still here.
X amount of dollars. This is like V3 of this car, probably.
What suspension do you have on this?
KW V4s on this car.
Okay.
Phenomenal suspension.
And the wheels?
Wheels are Forge lines. Don't know what Forge lines they are, with the racing pocket in the center, the stud conversion, AP racing brakes. It ties together nicely.
And of course, you're running what tires?
Pilot's Sport Cup 2s.
Oh, Jesus.
Which are perfect in November.
That's why it took you a little bit longer to get here, especially when it's sub 30 degrees outside.
Yeah, as long as it don't snow or rain, I'll be all right.
What has been the most joyous thing of building this car?
I think this is probably it's not the first one I did. The most joyous thing about building this car was the people that I met throughout the process. I met Nestor through building this car. I met Keith, another gentleman that's in the community that introduced me to Nestor.
Yeah.
So like that has to be it. It has to be the connections that I made with people. This car's been down to Florida a few times. I don't think we've ever had it out to the West Coast, but just the people along the way that we met. I had this car at the tail of the Dragon when I got dog shit sick in the woods, like, and the car was like almost brand new. We had it out in Calverton mowing down grass on the runway. Like this car's been around for a minute, so a lot of good memories, but definitely like the people that it's connected me to in this game. Being that it was so new, like us G guys kind of like gravitated toward each other in the beginning in 2021, 2022.
Yeah. And there was that love-hate relationship back then because the new redesign. And
but all of us that had them were all like, yo, where are you going to be? You know, where's the next, spot? Let's link up.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you were definitely one of the first guys to have a G, like on the tri-state, because there weren't many people back then.
All respect to that comment. Soon was the first guy that I knew had a G in the market. He had the rear-wheel drive green, Isle of Man green car. That was his. But he had that car probably when I had my F80. So I got this when the first all-wheel drives came out. I was one of the first with the all-wheel drive. But there were some Gs out already.
Because I don't remember like many people having a G when I first met you. You know, there was only Joe, Keith,
a few.
Pushing them.
Right.
And
he still has his.
Yeah, he still have his. Not many people. I don't remember
Joe
like
doesn't,
many.
Keith doesn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, like a lot of guys have moved on from these. I'm married to this car, like y'all already know. We're not going to talk about it, but like I'm into this car.
There is no way that you're getting rid of the car.
And all kinds
you would never
shit.
get rid of the car.
Not if circumstances didn't warrant an absolute need. You know what I mean? Like if something happened in life, and it's, you know what I mean? Like of course you would get rid of possessions. Like it's just a fucking car. But no, like this, I'm not going to get rid of none of the cars I own. Let's keep it 100. But this car specifically, nah.
Do you think this will be the final iteration? I mean,
it is.
Stroker kit,
Yeah.
Alcon brakes.
This is it for this car. But again, like we didn't go for all the power. We went for all the drivability. And if anybody drives this car, you're going to be like, holy shit.
And it's an R18 car, so that way it'll be available to the world.
Right.
So you're pushing 800 on 93.
800 on 93, 798 on 93.
Wait, so did you run it on E85 yet or not yet?
No, there's going to be an E40 tune coming for this car. E40 fuel sensors already installed by the builder. He's preparing it for it. They're just working on tunes and doing more R&D on that. They did put another motor like this in his M4. I don't know if you know Steve Dinan's M4. It's kind of famous. It's been on a bunch of magazines and shit. So he's upgrading that car now to this stroker build as well. And as they go through that process, they're going to build out some ethanol tunes for it, E40 tunes. So the car will be 100% ready for it. The trans, I don't know. Like if we're already at 800, it's going to push the car over 900 horsepower with an E40 tune. Easy.
It's still on stock transmission.
Stock trans.
Still on stock X-Drive.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
So you haven't blew your
Yeah.
transfer case?
No.
Because the
transportation
gentleman right next to me.
Yeah, but he drives a grocery getter. Like he doesn't drive a car. He drives, and those X3s are like the drive shafts and all kinds of issues with that.
He has gone through how many?
Too much stuff to list. But I am pushing forward where no one else wants to go. So
do you have like a built diff in there now?
So I will have an upgraded drive shaft, new transfer case, transmissions upgraded. All that's getting done.
You have pure in there?
Well, I'm still dealing with that because a lot of issues have been going back and forth. But I've been in contact with ATS out in Texas.
Becca, you try them.
Yeah, and then Pure is out here in Long Island.
Yeah.
But I have to see what's going to do right for me.
Of course. It's an investment.
And of course, I'm going Rev 2, and F80 Paul is going to be doing
Let's
my
not give it
tuner.
too much sauce, right? Because you're also coming to the podcast once
I'll bring my fire
the
extinguisher.
car is done. Yeah, please. We might gonna need it.
So no bullshit. This car has a fire extinguisher in the front seat. Don't get it twisted.
Perfect.
We almost burned a couple of them down. It ain't gonna happen again.
That's the way. That's the way to go.
You never know.
So I know you just picked the car just got delivered to you.
Yeah.
How many break-in miles have you done, or have you just ripped
So they
it?
broke it in on the dyno. This shop out there in Cali has a full in-house dyno. So
Okay.
they ran this car when they first put it in on the dyno. The motor's been in the car since like March or April, and then they've just been playing around with it. They had a lot of issues with like Vanos. It wound up being the Vanos unit was bad, and they were trying to troubleshoot software for 2 months before realizing it could possibly be the hardware. They swapped it, and it was the hardware.
Okay.
But yeah, the motor's been in the car. It's just been tweaking it. And then like at the end of the process, I'd ask like, when is it coming? They'd tell me, oh, it's going to be ready, at this point. And it never was. And And then Steve Dinan would be like, oh, I got to fly back out because he's in Colorado, the shop's in California. And he'd be like, I got to drive it one more time. I'm going to fly out and drive it one more time. So there's a whole bunch of him getting behind the wheel and driving the wheels off of this car to get it to the point that it is now. Like real world plus dyno.
Well, I know this stroker kit is made for the masses.
Yeah.
Did they give you any insight about warranty or
I
serviceability?
believe all Carbahn built motors, and this is a true built motor, pistons, rods, studs, like everything is done in this motor, bearings. It would have to be because it's a stroker and there's no stock 3.2 shit, right?
Yeah.
But I believe everything with them is 2 years, unlimited mileage on their motors. I'd have to look that up. It may be 3 years, but at least 2 years unlimited mileage on their motors, yeah. And I've had issues with them before, not with their built motors, but with like other things, and they stand behind it 1,000%. Never an issue with them fixing what happens. Or.
So, do you think it was worth it to do this S58 on a stroker?
I don't know. It remains to be seen when the weather clears up and we start getting some real, seat time in this car when it's, when the tires are good and we're able to put the power to the ground. Right now, it's a little sketchy, driving it in 30-degree weather with these tires on it. It was super expensive. I've had other shops that quoted me pretty close to what I paid to get this completed for like a whole big turbo, built motor, and I didn't go that route. And I honestly feel like at the age that I'm at, like this car is like literally the best driving car in comfort mode. The shit,
no lag,
will impress the shit out of you in comfort mode. Like nothing. Like the car is just super exactly what you would expect it to be, in fast, zippy. It's a really
it's like OEM plus.
Like it's the best I've ever driven it, and I've had a lot of versions of this car. We've had Pures on it. We've had a lot of things. But again, like people will tell you, throw this at the car, put an intake manifold, do this and that. They ripped all that shit off the car. I got a box at the house that I'm going to be putting online soon. So if you want parts, hit me up.
So where they can follow you though? Where they can reach out to you?
16G80. We're going to have them online for sale in some of the local groups pretty soon. I got somebody that's going to take some pictures and post them for me. But we've got everything. The brakes for this car are going to be online soon. The intake manifold is going to be online soon. The inventory intakes, the Motive Flex Fuel Kit, the injectors, the fuel rails, like all the shit that came off this
Recoup
car.
a little bit.
I'm going to try to recoup a little bit. It'll go right into the E46 that we're putting together, I'm sure.
Well, you had the fun, yeah. Out of like maybe 8 BMWs, you got to fund one project to another.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how it is. But I typically don't. I also have 2 sets of wheels that we're trying to move. So like, I've gotten to the point of hoarding so much shit that now I need to start thinning out the amount of stuff that I have. It's a lot of stuff.
So what you're saying is sometimes more is less.
Less is more.
And sometimes more is less, and sometimes less is more. Right?
I don't know if more is less.
Because sometimes more is less, bro, and sometimes less is more. Like because like in this case, you take stuff out, which was more before, but now it's less, and it's still making the same amount of power,
comparable. It was
or maybe
built
even more.
Before fully built,
with less stuff.
We went to Gintani to run this car through the shop that we were discussing earlier, and we did like an 844 horsepower pull on this car with a kill map, like a full 85 kill map. So like that's really impressive to me that we're getting almost the same power, 40 horsepower less on the 93 map. You know what I mean?
On the 93.
Yeah, and super solid. Like this car will hit 100K like it's nothing,
Do you know how much torque it made on the dyno?
740.
Oh, so it's just as good as, it's just as up there if you had a big single.
But these cars, you gotta be real careful with the torque because of the trans, right?
Yeah.
So I think the sweet spot is like in the 700s. I don't think you really, unless you're building transes, I don't think you want to go much further than that, but I might be wrong. I think it's
Do you think it would be necessary to build the trans and X-Drive on this?
Yeah, if we go to like, I don't know, like the thing with me is I'm never really happy with anything for long. So like, who knows what happens next summer?
I know what's gonna happen.
I don't know. Right now we're looking at muscle, like doing a new set of turbos on the F80 CS. Like there's other cars that are in front of this. This one just came back, so it'll probably go in the back of the line.
So enjoy this for a little bit
Yeah.
until you start to get bored.
Yeah.
Bored.
But it really drives well. Like, and I think that this is a value. If I ever did want to move on from it, like somebody would really want this car. You know what I mean? Like the first stroker that Steve Dinan put together, the car signed by him. Like it's to me, it's like a bucket list thing. Like I literally had a car built by one of the OGs in this game,
and especially in the BMW world.
Yeah, he's an OG.
And to have something built by them that has all that knowledge, and then with a tuner that's been around the game for a long time, you know that they're gonna make a solid product. The last thing they want to do is make a stroker kit, and then things happen. So at least you know it's gonna be kind of bulletproof. Send it out to the East Coast. Now I'm stuck with it. Like that's not the vibe. And then the other nice thing is my shop here, Thompson Performance Group, will
deal with anything that needs to be done with this car at this point. Like they'll pick it up from where they left off because they're an authorized Carbahn dealer. Oh. So it all works out for me. I'm not going to be stuck with a car that doesn't run. But again, the car, phenomenal since I've had it back.
That's awesome.
You have no issues so far?
Not any issues. It did throw a check engine light on the way over here today. We scanned it. It's like an air leak or something simple, but it could be adaptations. The car was built in Cali, ran for Cali in a year.
And it's 30 degrees outside.
The air is different here. It's cold. So I think that may be what it is, but we'll get into it next week. I'll get the shop to come pick it up and dig into exactly what's going on with it. If there's a vacuum line that's off or something stupid.
So it must be nice just to say, you know what, you'll come and get my car, come and pick it up.
That's how it
just
goes,
shake it
bro.
from
You
me.
gotta get to that level.
Well, again,
just make a phone call.
Some of our viewers are new to us. So TPG is a dealer, BMW.
Thompson, I think it's BMW at Doylestown now they call themselves, but it's Thompson BMW. They have a whole performance group side of the dealership that builds the coolest shit you could imagine.
And it's all covered.
In-house, most of the time, they do a lot with built cars. You know, they will service or warranty a lot of stuff on your car if it doesn't have to do exactly with, particularly with what you did to it. If you have an axle that, a boot that breaks or some crazy other stuff, they're not going to flag you for the tune because you're getting something fixed underneath the car.
That's cool.
And they'll work on anything. They'll plug, all of the cars that I have that have plugins, they have like a dongle that plugs into the ODB to kind of act like it's not there. So they'll work with you on all of that stuff. I was there today, they scanned this car. They're like, oh yeah, it's going to pop up with some warning about the software has been manipulated.
It won't flag it.
Don't worry about it. That's what he turned to me and said. I'm like, not that they're going to, they run through BMW, but they do fight for you. Like there's so much stuff on this car, even though it was built before I got to this point, like the last build, so much stuff, not so much, but quite a few things where they literally warranted a lot of shit on this car. And they had a fight with BMW to get it done, and BMW agreed to do it. So they're a great partner.
Do you feel more happy with this build than the previous one?
Yeah, 1,000%. It's solid. You could just tell how this car drives that it's supposed to be like this. This is the best way. If they built this car like this, it would be absurd.
I can see.
But it's something that's so. I'm telling you, you got to drive it when the weather warms up. I can see a
smile on you, so
I can't really even explain it. I have a lot of cars. This shit.
But it makes you giddy,
bro. I have this one corner by my house, right? It's kind of on a dip, and it comes up. It's a red light there. You get a green arrow, whatever. I'm coming around there in this car. Normally, you jump on it, and it takes a second or two for the car to really seat into the corner and pull power. Bro, I'm midway through the corner and getting on the throttle in this car, and I'm already sliding sideways because the boost already hit the wheels. It's instant. I don't know how else to explain it. I've never driven a car that had such a clean power delivery and so quick. It's really, really good.
It's another way to get power out of the car without going a big single. And
but again,
doing all
this guy,
things.
Steve, he builds drivers. You know what I mean? That's his thing. He doesn't build race cars. Oh, he does because he has a race team. But in the dining aspect of things, even going back to the E39 and all those type cars that he had kits for, they were the best driving cars. The S3 E39 was a supercharged V8. It's still legendary to this day, and it's 25 years ago. You know what I mean? Try finding one of the superchargers. If you do, let me know. But yeah, it's crazy, and he builds them to drive them. I'm telling you, no joke. He knows what he's doing.
Are you planning to race these Bimmers United for the season opener?
Yeah,
April 12th?
We'll probably get to it.
I want to see, I want to see those numbers. Definitely, I want to see those numbers.
Hopefully, we'll have an E40 tune by then.
And how it performs, while it's there.
It rips quick. I'm telling you, it's gonna do well in a dig because the car gets up and goes so fast.
So wait, so you're doing a dig? You're not doing roll?
Yeah, I would do digs.
Hell yeah. But it's not a trailer queen at any.
Nah.
All respect to it.
Yeah. This car's got 33,000 on it. We put the motor in right now, 33K. So we got a good amount of fun out of it prior to this with the other iterations of the build, and we're ready to put another 33,000 on it if we have to.
Are you excited to put her on the track and see how it performs?
Yeah, very excited to see. I haven't been on the track all year because this car was in California. So I wasn't taking another car and putting it on the track this year at any of the other events or at Beamers United. And I kind of missed out on that. I really enjoyed it.
I wanted to see what's the difference, from before and now. After you raced.
It's gonna be crazy.
So I also want to see, so.
I think that this car's gonna shit on more powerful cars, 900 horsepower cars. I think this car's eating it. I'm telling you, this car moves.
Because of the response, you think?
Yeah, just because of the way it's built. They downsized the turbos to be able to get the spool quicker, eliminate the lag. The top side, they poured it out the vanos. Like, I don't even know. Like, I could tell you, but like, I'm just telling you what I've heard from them telling me. Like, more oil flow to the vanos. Like, there's so much shit that they went through with this car, machine shop stuff, and to make it what it is now. Like, it was a lot of R&D involved in getting this product.
Did they tell you when's the actual release for this package?
But I would assume if you called Carbahn today, they would tell you they have a stroker kit. They're pretty, once it's done, it's done. There's no more revisions coming except for the ethanol side of this.
Okay.
So I think if there's people that want motors, that they're gonna get them. And there are people, like, they're a motor company, so like, in addition to a shop, there's people that buy their motors all the time. Thompson just had an M5 down there that was getting a Carbahn motor installed, because for 18K, a crate motor from BMW S58 is like 25.
Yeah.
You're getting a built motor for 18K, like pistons, rods, like the whole works.
With a warranty.
With a warranty on it. So like, it's, like if you have a motor issue in these cars, like, people go to them typically. I mean, you have other builders now, but like, it hasn't, that's new. Like 5150, like there's some other ones, but they weren't around. Or maybe they were, they just weren't known by us. But Carbahn's been building motors for a long time.
There's still a lot of shops out there that said they build cars,
right?
But they don't even use a torque wrench on the wheels.
Like that's one thing, and
YouTube mechanic.
Yeah, YouTube mechanic. Like I was saying before, it's like, when I say I was a little bit upset because why do we have to send the car all the way to LA when we are supposed to have a great shops and a great mechanics?
And I think we do. I don't think me sending this car to California is shunting, is shunning any shop in the Northeast. I almost sent it to Chicago. There's another guy up there that builds the shit out of these cars. I just want to go to who I have the most, trust with implicitly. It's going to work the way it's supposed to. And honestly, around here, I don't know a shop that hasn't that has shown me that. Like, hasn't blown a motor up, hasn't tried to play somebody out for $1,000. Like, I spend G's on these cars, tens of thousands of dollars. Like, I need a relationship where I'm the small guy in that shop. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be the guy that's spending all the money in the shop. I want to be the guy that, like, he's just another customer because this dude's spending $100K on his build. You know what I mean? I feel like you get value from certain people, and certain people have had reputations for a long time. There's a reason why.
But on the other hand, we have a shop like Maximum PSI.
Yeah.
You have Bimmer Hub.
Yeah.
You have Keys.
Yeah.
That they also have a great name. And none of them touch this car.
No, but Bimmer Hub I reached out to originally when I wanted to build this car because I knew that they were one of the shops that did it, and they're fairly close to where I live, less than an hour away. They never fucking called me back, dude. Like, they could have put a gang of money in their pocket, or this had built a relationship above and beyond anything else. Because a lot of people that I deal with in this industry, in this community, go to them for work. I've never been to their shop because of that. And I tried reaching out to them quite a few times in the beginning. This is back in 2021, early 2022.
Missed opportunities.
Yeah,
definitely.
I would have went to them if things were different.
So we just started working with a shop here in Long Island, M&F Auto Performance. They have built one of the craziest S58 out there. I'm not gonna say the name because I'm not supposed to say, but like I was talking to them and I say, how you guys never put your name out there before, knowing all you guys know. That was crazy for me. But I'm happy because now they are one of our sponsors, and they going to Texas 2K.
You going down there to support them?
Myself?
Yeah.
I might. So
that'd be dope. Let me know. I would love to go to Texas.
They trying. All I know is like they going for the record for the Gen 1 B58.
Yeah.
And guys, they great, amazing people. Like you guys better be ready for this. They also come into Bimmer United. They're gonna have a booth over there and everything, and they're gonna have like 3 or 4 cars that they're gonna expose there. Because I was talking to them. I said, guys, I need you guys to bring what you guys have built. Because like, bro, the build that they have touched are insane.
There's some shops that like it's not everybody's vision to be famous with this.
100%. Because like I was saying before, there is a lot of people that are cloud chaser, and there are some people that just want to be low key.
We know a guy down in Florida. That's where I got all the AC Schnitzer from. All the AC Schnitzer parts for this car. He runs Tuner Source, but he's also like the importer of Mansory and those type of things. He runs a nondescript garage on some street in Miami. You would never expect he builds Mansory cars, but by like by recommendation from other people. Like he doesn't take open business. You have to know somebody who knows that this guy does it to get his information. There's just some people out there. He could probably be a bazillionaire making, doing all these cars. He doesn't have the interest in it. He wants to be low key. And if you don't know, you just don't know. You'll see him in the street, not even know.
I'm happy, to be honest, because obviously we have shops, like Triple C that they do a lot of work on our cars.
Right.
But we didn't have performance shop,
Right.
And they probably gonna be working with Warren too,
Yeah.
So big things coming on Tri-State. They definitely, they name is gonna be up there with us. There's not question about it. I'm so happy for that, So
But there's a huge difference between like a speed shop that builds the fastest of anything, right? And like a performance shop that builds drivers, right? They're two different markets, I think. It's not the same market.
It's also the vision of the customer and the tuner or the shop that's
Right,
making
but a lot
it.
of people have the vision of 1,500 horsepower, but really not the understanding of what that looks like when they get it. It's not fun to drive. It's not, you know what I mean? Like those cars change. It's not for everybody. It's not for me anymore. That's for sure. I don't want a 1,500 horsepower car. Well, maybe at some point, but like, that's just because I can. You know what I mean? Or maybe at some point I can. But like, I want to be able to drive these fuckers, man.
yeah, 100%.
Especially when we go out on the cruise.
But there are some racers, like these guys build these cars to race. Like you said, Texas 2K.
Those
Yeah,
are
big
those
numbers. Big numbers.
Those people are on
a different breed.
different level.
Yeah, they are.
How do you feel though on that level? Do you think Texas has better driver than New York, or
I don't know. There's another brand that has an event down there once a year, and I haven't been to it yet. So like, I don't know a lot. I've been everywhere in the country. I feel like that does like racing, other than like, like the Midwest where they race like muscle cars and stuff like that. But I've been like to a lot of markets that race these kind of cars. I've never been to Texas, so I couldn't even begin to tell you.
You've been in FL2K?
No, but I've been to Florida a lot for events, so I kind of have a vibe. Like I know the vibe, like the type of builds that they have.
But I just feel like with Florida, it's like the weather, it like change any day. Because I remember
it's
like
super humid, so you're running shit down there. Like it's not great to run cars in that weather. Like it's not great for
the
power.
DA is different.
Yeah.
Because I remember, I think it was actually this year, if I'm not mistaken, they have a Florida 2K, and they have fucking rain, and people were complaining about it. Because people go from here, they spend a lot of money. It's not.
There are other events in Florida. It's a crapshoot. Half the time it's a shit day in the rain, and another half it's beautiful. So it's just the luck of the draw, right?
You've been like all over the country pretty much, right? What about Los Angeles? What about California?
Yeah, the vibe out there is crazy, but I think it's more of like, and I could be completely wrong. When I was out there, I was kind of like clowning them a little bit, like where your fast car's at. I didn't see a lot of that. I didn't see a lot of single turboed. I didn't see a lot of like 1,000 horsepower builds. Allegedly, they're out there, I was told, like, but I didn't see
It's
it.
a lot more cosmetic, you think?
Yeah, I think it's a lot more like
feel like
OEM plus, because they have a lot of rules out there.
Yeah.
So like, and these guys have perfect weather. The cars stay perfect condition and clean. Like I think it's a lot of that vibe, like dope ass wheels and like a tune.
Well, it's hard these days because every state and every region now has handicaps. Us in the Northeast are getting handicapped because of what's happening with.
But if you buy enough cars, right? This is my cheat code in PA. If I drive each one less than 5,000 miles a year, they're exempt for any kind of emissions testing.
Oh,
So
wait,
like,
so we're
you
all
just have
moving
to have
PA?
like 15 cars, right?
Yeah.
You drive each one less than 5K a year and you're good. There's your solution.
So you think it's more like because of the regulation in California?
Yeah, it's definitely
It's
like
very
pollution
strict.
regulations. And
I know they're crazy, bro. Like I know that like you can even have a downpipe. I don't think over there.
your car
because,
can be
like,
too low. They can pull out a ruler and give you a ticket for your car being too low. Like, it's ridiculous there. But
What they call it, a state ref?
yeah, state ref, and you got to go get your whole car inspected, and you can't drive it until it's right. I've noticed. I grew up in the New York area, and then I moved to Pennsylvania a long time ago. I noticed that like there are certain states that are like police states. Like that's just how they're ran. The revenue, all the shit that comes with that is a priority of the jurisdictions and the state where you live. New York is probably one of the ones on the top of the list.
It's
that
a
does
big
that
money
shit.
grab.
New Jersey's pretty close. You go out to PA, not so much. So there's a lot of states where you can get, enjoy your vehicles.
We just gotta find
I heard
Amish
Montana's
country.
another one.
So how do you feel about the new law that is upcoming next year for New York?
So like the tint hitting hitting an overpass, you get points. This is so absurd of what they're doing for the new laws that are coming to penalize drivers.
But New York is ridiculous with that stuff anyway, because it's a revenue-driven thing, right? Like they eat off of tickets. Like I run a business that comes in and out of New York every day. I drop about $1,000 a month on tickets, and that's light for a lot of people. And then another $3K a month in Easy Pass, you know? So like, and then the times that the Easy Pass doesn't read my transponder in the car, now they're hitting me for all kinds of bullshit. It's a hustle, dude. And until people in New York start voting for people that are gonna get rid of these cameras on every block, it's ridiculous. Like, you don't need it. I promise you. It would be just as safe without any of that stuff.
I just feel like, to be honest though, it's just like, it's all about the money, bro. Like it's really, really.
But you gotta elect the people in office that are gonna stop that shit. Like that's just the solution. It's not gonna, you know, like you let them get away with it. There's a town in New Jersey that put up speed cameras. They were there for like 2 months. The residents went crazy. They pulled them shits down.
Well, we used to have a speed camera here, and not a speed camera, with a red light camera,
yeah.
and you know they have the program for 5 years, but they get rid of it.
Yeah.
In Long Island, Suffolk, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
Suffolk County.
if I'm not mistaken, yeah. But they still have that in Nassau.
Right.
You know, I just feel like the 5-borough Nassau, and it's just like money thing, bro. Like it's so bad, to be honest. First of all, you know, people are not making enough money.
You don't see it the way I do because I don't live here, but I come here all the time. Bro, like I could drive trucks around or my cars or whatever around PA all day long, pay no tolls, get no tickets, park wherever I want, right in front of the store. And then I come out here and it's a whole other thing where you have to understand that that's an expense. When you drive out here, this shit is the additional expense you have to pay to drive in the New York area.
It's just really, really bad, bro.
It's
Like,
trash.
it really is. You know,
really
like
is.
it gets to a point, to be honest, like you just want to move it out from the state. But at the same time, it's like nothing is like New York.
Throw some bullshit plates on your car.
Yeah.
Like, I would be tempted if I lived in New York. Like
It's
stickers,
just-
something.
But it's. I feel like next year is gonna have a lot of challenge,
Yeah.
because the fact that like if you go in, I think 10 over the speed limit, they're gonna give you 8 point. So if you have a windshield tint, they give you 1 point.
Per windshield that's tinted.
Yeah.
That's a point.
It's not confirmed.
Well,
but
the windshield
But
it
even
is.
still,
The windshield it is.
10 over, like they're,
yeah.
but 10 over, they're tripping. Florida just came up with that over 100 mile an hour is a felony, bro. Like, I'm no felon, but I drive over 100 miles an hour on once in a blue. You know what I mean? Like, not often.
But it's, you know, like
Once in a while.
In Mexico.
Yeah.
in Mexico, yeah.
But how can that be? Like, just because people allow this shit to happen to us, man.
But I just feel like, in the way I see is this way, right? So think about it. Like, if you're doing 10 mile over the speed limit and you see a cop is coming after you, are you gonna stop? If you know you're gonna get 8 points on your license. Most likely,
lot of
I
people
feel like
are.
a lot of people are not gonna stop. If you're getting 8 points on your license,
You're going to have a ton more suspended drivers. You're going to have
You know,
all
it's
that
like,
issue too, right?
a
It's
lot of
cause and effect. They're trying to alleviate or penalize certain drivers,
Right.
but they're gonna create more because of it.
It's terrible. that
I
they
feel
do
like a lot of people are not gonna stop. Like,
that. I feel like when the speed limits are higher, there's less accidents. I know this probably sounds crazy.
yeah.
But like the faster you drive, not like 100, but like, you know, like 80, it's the guy doing 50 on an 80 mile an hour road or a 70 mile an hour road that's going to kill you. Like, it's not the guy that's doing 80 next to you. So once you understand that and you're aware of your surroundings when you're going that kind of speed, like it should be allowed. And when you go out of this state, like it is allowed. But you guys all drive 45 on the highway, 50 on the highway, even when there's no traffic. People are doing 50 on the fucking LIE, dude. I'm like, how do you enjoy life out here if you don't even get to drive your car? You know what I mean?
Yeah, the speed limit on the state is 55.
I came
like
here, it was like 30 all the way through the neighborhood. I said, man, let me slow down because I know Long Island don't play around. Out in PA, I'd be doing 60 down that road. They wouldn't blink. Like,
That's what I'm saying. You know, like I just feel like with all these new rules that are coming out next year, you know, I don't know
force
how.
people out of here. That's what's going to happen. It's going to force more people to leave
Definitely.
the New York area because it's super
Most
expensive.
definitely.
Well, from what you just said, looks like everybody's going to PA.
I don't know if it's PA. I mean, it was for a long time in the 80s and 90s. I don't know if it is anymore. I think a lot of people are going down south. A lot of people are just leaving the area because if you could live somewhere else where, just imagine my business occurs at least $4,000 or $5,000 a month in
Just
expense,
traveling.
just coming to New York.
Yeah, just
right?
traveling.
That's not even including the parking that's legal or the tolls that I pay or, you know what I mean, that are legal or the tickets for the tolls, whatever. Like if I take that same business model and move it out of state.
I mean, that's $5,000 alone right there.
Right, but I'm not going to get the money that's here.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean? Listen, I own trucks. I don't put numbers or letters on the trucks because then we can't get on the parkways. Like they get you either way. But when we go to Manhattan, we can't park in commercial areas.
Yeah.
So like, do you put the letters on the truck so you have somewhere to park when you pull up to a job site in Manhattan? Or do you not, and not be able to take the parkways and take 7 hours to get from Long Island to Manhattan? Either way, so I don't put letters on the trucks. Every time my guys get a ticket, it's like an unlettered truck and a commercial vehicle, non-commercial vehicle in a commercial spot. $230. But I eat them. That's New York for you, though. When I argue with the guy, this truck is out of Pennsylvania, they don't give a shit. They enforce New York law on a Pennsylvania registered vehicle. It doesn't make sense. And you try to fight it if you want. That's their answer.
Yeah.
You may win, or you may waste 3 days of your life and want to kill yourself.
Yeah, but you know, but does it make sense for you to come all the way from PA to here, you know, just to fight a ticket that is going to cost you $250?
Right, but the market here is so big, and that's what they bank on, is the people are going to use this area. People are going to be on the roads. People are going to, and they're just taking advantage of people that do it. That's what tolls are, dude. You shouldn't have to pay a toll 3 times for me to get from Jersey to here, or 4 different tolls. I don't know, but it's a few. Like, why is that? And it's probably $40, you know?
Yeah, it's just insane, to be honest.
It's crazy.
But, you know, it is
The
what
world
it is.
we live in.
Yeah,
New York, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
I guess that's what they want you to believe.
Yeah.
no, that's for sure, bro. That's for sure. You know, I used to live in South Carolina, and
But all of this, and you can't even enjoy your vehicle. You can't even enjoy driving it. You know what I mean? Like, there's just certain things to me that's just, I drove all the way here. It was a 2-hour and 40-minute ride to get here today. It sucked. The whole 2 hours and 40 minutes sucked.
yeah, the traffic, bro. And also, like, a lot of people don't know how to drive, to be honest, too. Like, you know.
A lot of NPCs.
Yeah. And it's the holiday season.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Makes it worse.
God forbid.
Well, last but not least, Jeremy, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to come here. 2 hour and 40 minute drive.
Pleasure
Right?
to be invited. I appreciate you.
You
guys,
know, this is definitely gonna be a good one, guys. You guys can follow at his page 16G80. You know, you guys got anything else to say?
No, I appreciate you coming out. I know this isn't going to be the last time you're going to be on the podcast.
Nah, we'll have a couple more.
You got a couple of projects that are in the works.
That's
I understand. So hopefully, when we'll get to share that with our audience, and we'll sit down and we'll go over what else you've done to another BMW.
Absolutely. We'll have to get you guys out to the garage when we have all the cars there.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
I can't wait for that.
It'll be amazing.
Definitely, it's gonna be fun. Last question: once you get the CS, do you have any plan for it?
Of course. My plan was to put a cover on it and leave it because it's a very limited car. I think only 87 went to Japan. Like, there's very few of these cars being built. But then I saw that gray one that Vossen just released that's down at Art Basel this weekend. Like, but there's no way I'm not going to put wheels on that car. Meisterschaft just released a full titanium exhaust yesterday. They already hit me up. I mean, when you know people in the industry, like, I'm not paying full price for a lot of this stuff, but I am paying a lot for
good money.
it. Well, you could always put a car back to stock. Just hold on to the stock cars, right? That's what I tell myself.
All right, so definitely, you know, once the CS it has some sauce on it.
Yeah, definitely.
We own it too.
Absolutely.
You know, what do you got? Anything to say, Shiesty Mikey? Oh, Shiesty Mike is quiet today.
Mikey.
Oh, Shiesty Mikey. All right, you know, to my audience, thank you for the love, for the support. Like, share, comment, subscribe. And if you guys got any question out there, listen, we're always here for you guys.
DM us.
DM us. Where can they reach out to us?
On TikTok, IG, and of course the YouTube channel.
And what's the email?
Oh, it's going to be TheBimmerPodcast@gmail.com.
Wow.
Yeah, Bobby. We outside, Papi. Gang, gang. This is how we do it. Thank you, Jeremy.
You got it.
Appreciate it.
Always.